Welcome back to the David67 Celtic News YouTube channel. Today's video, preview of tomorrow afternoon's Celtic versus Aberdeen match, which will be live on Sky Sports for those not lucky enough to be able to get tickets or travel to the game. Also, a couple of wee bits of news and some speculation regarding Brendan Rodgers' options for tomorrow's game. Now, Celtic have a brilliant record against Aberdeen. We've had 9 wins and 1 draw in the last 10 games against Aberdeen, stretching back 35 games between Celtic and Aberdeen at Celtic Park. Aberdeen have had only 1 win and 1 draw in those 35 games, with Celtic winning 33 of those 35 games. And of course, we beat them 4 times out of 4 last season and beat them 3-1 earlier in the season in the sunshine at Pittodrie. And Celtic are now going for 50 home games in a row undefeated, which would be only the second time ever in Celtic's history that we've gone 50 home games in a row undefeated, and would make them 3 shy of Martin O'Neill's great team of the early 2000s. I think that Aberdeen will be a little bit deflated, having gone out of contention for European knockout stage with a 2-2 draw in Greece on Thursday. I thought actually that Aberdeen's performance was very creditable, as PAOK are leading that group. But I think that they will have a European hangover, while Celtic will have all the incentive to come back strong in the game against Aberdeen, and I fully expect Celtic will win comfortably 2 or 3-0. Brendan Rodgers, of course, in his press conference, was talking that Dyson Maeda is expected out for 6 weeks, which, if all things go to plan, would mean he would be available for the Rangers match on the 30th of December, which could be quite a critical fixture for Celtic, as that would give us a good gap over Rangers, and also a lot of momentum over them as well. Also, just after that, we may well be missing quite a few of our Asian players, such as Kyogo, Maeda, Hatate, O and Yang, and also potentially Tilio, as the Asian Cup starts in mid-January through to mid-February. And so we could be missing all of our Japanese stars and our 2 South Koreans for the whole of around 6 weeks, which would be 5 or 6 matches, which obviously is quite a large proportion of the season. Hopefully by then, however, we should have Leo Labada back. And it may well be that with Hatate and Maeda both having had long spells out injured, that the Japanese manager may choose not to pick them for the squad and only call up Kyogo for the cup. O and Yang have been in Jurgen Klinsmann's South Korean squads, playing a few minutes here and there, or simply sitting on the bench. And I would expect both of them will be called up for the Asian Cup in January, February next year. So, obviously bad news that Maeda's out. Celtic do have options to replace him directly. For me, the most obvious replacement would be Yang. I think going to either James Forrest or Mikey Johnson would be backward moves. I don't think Mikey Johnson's got a future at Celtic. I think James Forrest's best years are behind him. I am very happy for James Forrest to be on the bench, come on the last 10-15 minutes, to give players such as Palmer, Abada, Yang, Maeda a rest when they're playing. And I think Johnson should be one of the first players out the door in Brendan Rodgers' cull of players in the winter break. So, options for Rodgers are quite interesting. As I say, Yang is the most obvious option. Young player, has been good in bursts, may well settle down with a few games regularly in the team. I think he's been getting better and better. And in his last performance, I think he was against St Mirren, I thought he had a lot of good touches, was cutting in towards the box much more often, a couple of lovely deliveries, a couple of shots as well, and I think he has the potential to create goals and score the odd goal for Celtic, coming in off the right or the left. Another interesting option some people are putting forward would be promoting Rocco Vata from the B team. Vata originally was much more of a wide player, although has been playing through the middle for the B team and has actually scored a lot of goals for the B team in the Lowland League and has done well in the youth version of the Champions League against Feyenoord, Lazio and Atletico Madrid. I would love to see Vata into the first team squad and getting a regular tryout, either as a replacement on the right or the left, wide, or coming through the middle to rest Kyogo late in the match. Either way, I think Celtic should invest in the future, invest in homegrown players, and I think it's one of the deficiencies that we've seen under Lennon, Postecoglou and Rodgers has been the lack of young Scottish Celtic players coming through, or young Celtic trained players coming through from the youth into the B, into the A, into the top team. Thinking back, the most recent examples would be players such as Tierney and Ralston, before that Forrest and McGregor. Welsh has been in and out of the team also, but it's rather chilling for an old Celtic fan like me, who can remember the conveyor belt of young players that we had coming through into the first team through the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, and 2000s. I would love to see Rocco Vata getting a go, especially as we may well need him, particularly in those weeks in January and February when the Japanese and South Korean players are away. Another interesting option, which may be also useful in European football, would be to go to a back three, such as Scales, Carter Vickers, and Lagerbielka or Nawrocki, depending on Nawrocki's fitness, with Johnston and Taylor as wing backs, and then O'Reilly and McGregor in sort of central midfield, Kyogo and Lewis Palmer behind a Kyogo, Lewis Palmer, O combination as the front three, with Palmer and Kyogo kind of roving attacking midfielders, type positions behind O up the middle. I think there are many options. I do fear, however, Rodgers is most likely to go for the most conservative option, which would be using James Forrest as the starter and having Yang on the bench. The other player I think really needs to be coming into the first team squad and into contention for sub appearances and occasional starts is Marco Tilio. He is fully fit as far as we can see. He's had a couple of friendly matches and charity matches, and is said to look good in training, and yet Rodgers seems very reluctant to put him into first team contention. I have watched a lot of his scouting videos on YouTube and on the internet, and he looks like an excellent player. Lots of pace, lots of attack, able to create goals, very good at running into the box, which often gets um, penalties, free kicks, etc., which obviously is very useful for Celtic. I would love to see him coming off the bench in the next few matches whilst Maeda recovers. So, just to finish off, my prediction for the team, which is the team I think Rodgers will go for rather than the one I'd go for myself. I think he'll go with Hart in goals, Johnson, Scales, CCV, and Taylor in the back four. McGregor, O'Reilly, and Paolo Bernardo in midfield, with Forrest wide right, Palmer wide left, and Kyogo through the middle. I personally would have um, Yang out wide on the right. I would probably actually go for Iwata or Holm rather than Bernardo. Certainly wouldn't go for Turnbull. I think there's actually a good chance that Rodgers may well go for Turnbull in this match as well. But again, with Turnbull being unwilling to sign a new contract, I don't see any reason really for Celtic to play Turnbull until he comes out one way or the other as to whether he wants to stay at Celtic and sign a new contract or whether he wants away in the winter window, in which case we can leave him languishing on the bench or not even on the bench. I do hope that we get a bumper attendance tomorrow, full house. Hear rumours that a couple of the supporter groups are wishing to boycott the match in support of the Green Brigade, who are currently banned for numerous safety violations. And reading the tea leaves, it looked like UEFA were very much considering banning Celtic having fans for their next home match against Feyenoord. Now, the next home match against Feyenoord might be completely pointless, other than for points and prize money, in that we wouldn't be able to qualify for third position by that time, depending on our result in Lazio. However, I think as Celtic fans, we need to support the club. I think we also need to recognise there are safety rules. There are rules laid down by UEFA, FIFA, SFA, etc., regarding safety, regarding fire doors, regarding turnstiles, regarding the way that you look and treat stewards and staff of home and away grounds. And I think the key thing is to support Celtic. There are thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of people all over Scotland, Great Britain, and Ireland desperate for tickets to go to Celtic Park. And it's so sad if people choose to boycott the game and not support the club. However, the club and the Green Brigade remain in negotiations, and I'm sure it will be sorted out in the end. But I do hope that us as Celtic fans don't forget the most important thing is to support the club, support the players, and keep the club at the top of the league, and stop any possibility of the other lot getting any momentum to cut down our 8-point gap currently. However, everybody is fully entitled to their opinion, and if so, feel free to pop that into the comment section. Also, if you can and you haven't already, please click that subscribe button, and there will be a quiz question later in the day for your perusal. So, for today, thanks for listening, thanks for watching, and we'll have a wee update after the Celtic Aberdeen game is finished late tomorrow afternoon. Until then, goodbye. Good luck, Celtic, in your win over Aberdeen tomorrow to take us to 50 unbeaten at Celtic Park in a row. And hail, hail!